Now, Makulu Core Edition is slightly different to your average Linux distro. It has all the normal bells and whistles and all the normal stuff that you would expect out of a Linux distro. However, there are a couple of things that do set it apart, and I just want to make this little tutorial to show you around the desktop and show you some of the features that are hidden that you might not know about. So let's take a look on how to access these and how to manage them. There are three ways to access your menus in Makulu Core. The first one is actually just right clicking anywhere on your desktop and then selecting applications, and then you can go into the various categories to open up whichever app it is you're looking for. That is the first method. The second is the traditional menu, and the overlay. Third is the overlay menu. Both of these are activated or triggered when you move the mouse into the top left hand corner or the bottom left hand corner. Now, don't just move the mouse straight into the corner. It's a sort of a loop kind of action. It's down and across. Okay, so you kind of move it like that and you'll see the menu will come up. Move it down again, the menu goes away. Do it again, the menu comes up. So in the bottom corner you'll get that more traditional menu. Now this menu is nice for dragging items around, sort of dragging an item and dropping it on the desktop, as you can see there, or dragging it and dropping it into your dock bar, as you can see there. Okay, so that is the bottom menu, bottom corner. That's the more traditional menu, the plain menu. Okay, the overlay menu is in the top corner. If you go to the top corner, you will see, if you move your mouse to the top corner, you will get the scroll, overlay scroll menu, similar to the GNOME menu. You know, GNOME has this kind of overlay menu. So to get that menu, you just push your mouse to the top corner and that menu will pop up. Bottom corner, this menu will pop up. And of course, right click on the desktop will bring up the third menu. So there you have it, three different methods to access menus. There are two dock bars on Makulu Core. You have your bottom dock, as you can see here, and you have your side dock. Now the bottom dock holds a lot of favorite icons: file manager, terminal, web browser, software center, settings manager, and so forth. You can add items into this dock and remove items from this dock as easily as dragging and dropping. For example, we can bring the device manager and drop it into the dock. Now it's in the dock. We could also drag it out of the dock and it's gone. Okay, so very easy dock to manage. It's drag and drop, and if you open something like, let's say you open a window, the moment the dock comes, sort of interferes with the space of the window, the dock will minimize. Okay, so it will vanish the moment that space is needed. As you can see, I move the terminal down to occupy that space, the dock disappears. The same if I go full screen on an app, the dock disappears. However, I can still bring the dock up by just moving my mouse down. So very easy, I can just bring the dock right back up by moving the mouse down. Now if you look at an item, you can see the open item puts a little orange dot here at the bottom. So all open items will have little orange dots. And if we open up multiple items, so let's say we've got one there, and we open up a second one, we've now got two file managers open here. Okay, there are two open. Then you can see there are two dots here, two dots to show there are two of the same items open, they group together. If you want to switch between the two, you can simply just hold your mouse over the item and then use your mouse wheel to scroll between the open items. So very easily you can scroll between open grouped items by just moving your mouse wheel over the actual item. So that's a very handy little shortcut if you have two of the same open and you want to scroll between them. You have two terminal windows open, you got one over here, and let's say I open up another one over there. So one is over here and one is over there, and I want to scroll. You see, I can scroll between them just by using the mouse wheel. Very handy. So that is the one bottom dock. It's easy to manage. You can just drag items on, pull items off. You can scroll between open items. If you switch 3D on, you will actually, if you hold your mouse over an open button, it will actually have a little preview of the open item. But that function is only enabled once 3D is switched on. If you go to Settings Manager, you will also see here you have a Dock Manager. There's a Dock Manager, and these settings pertain to the bottom dock. So anything you change here will affect the bottom dock. Now, we have already preset this dock with the most recommended, commonly used settings. So I would advise you not to mess with these settings unless you know what you're doing. Okay, because this is already been set up, optimized to work with this desktop beautifully as is. So I wouldn't easily go mess with these settings over here, but if you do know what you're doing, then you can find those settings in Dock Manager. Okay, the second dock is a little side dock, which is actually based off the XFCE default panel. This hosts the system icons. This is a little clock and calendar at the bottom. That little button is a log out and reboot button, so you can quickly just log out and reboot easily there. You can also over here go to applications log out, or you can go to this menu and log out over here. So you've got multiple places that you can actually log off out of your system. Below that, you've got your menu, your volume, then you've got your battery, keyboard settings, update manager, your network, your wallpaper manager, and then of course your clock over there. Okay, so this houses all your open apps and system icons over here. So that's that little dock over there. Once again, if something needs the space of that dock, the dock will auto hide, which is the case for both docks. As that space is needed on either dock, it will auto hide. However, you can bring it up by moving your mouse to the right, the same as with the bottom dock. You need the bottom dock, just move your mouse down. You need the right dock, just move your mouse over and it will come back. So these docks are set to auto hide if the space is needed. That way they don't clutter the desktop when you don't want them to. However, you can just bring them back up if you need to, which makes them so perfect to use. Okay, so those are the docks in MakuluLinux Core Edition. There are a couple of different ways that you can change your wallpaper in MakuluLinux Core Edition. MakuluLinux Core Edition uses a wallpaper changer. It is turned on by default. You will find it here in your side dock. If you right click on that little icon over there, you will see there wallpaper selector, history, next, previous, preferences. You can come and change all the different preferences. There's a lot of options here for wallpapers. Okay, so this little icon over here controls the wallpaper as well as the quotes that you see on the desktop. So let's have a look at the different ways that you can change your wallpaper. Well, the first easiest way is right click the desktop on the desktop and choose wallpaper changer. If you select that, it will bring up a little bar at the top, and you can just with your mouse drag your mouse over and select a different wallpaper. Just click on it and it will change. You can select another one, click, and it will change. And so you can just easily and quickly change your wallpaper simply just selecting it, and then right click, close. You can also position this bar to a different spot if you want. There's a couple of options here to run through, but by default it opens at the top. So that's one way. Right click, wallpaper changer, and then just selecting the wallpaper, and when you're done, right click, close. You can also come here to the sidebar, right click here and choose wallpaper selector, which opens the same little bar, and then selecting your wallpaper and close. You can also right click here and click next or previous, and it will change the wallpaper to a random wallpaper, You can do the same with the quote, desktop quote. You can go next, skip next, forward history, pause on current. There's a couple of options for your desktop quote. By default, the quote and your wallpaper will change every 2 hours or after every system reboot, and you can change those options in preferences here. Okay, the other way to change your wallpaper is simply opening up settings manager and clicking wallpaper changer there, which will also bring up this little bar where you can select wallpaper and then click close. So managing your wallpaper in Makulu has never been easier. Wherever you are, you've got access to wallpaper changing at your fingertips. A right click menu, and by the way, this menu, even if you right click inside a file manager, you can still bring up the wallpaper changer. However, you won't actually see the new wallpaper until you minimize back to your desktop. So that's the wallpaper. Okay, your clock on your desktop is managed from Conky. It's a Conky clock, so it shows you the time, the date, the day, the month, and so forth. It'll also give you the distro name, hard drive space available, RAM being used, the kernel that's installed, and CPU usage. These you can go to desktop clock, and this will bring up a menu, and here you can actually go through all the different settings and change whatever you want to change, however you want to change it, whatever you want to do with it. There's lots of options. So that is this desktop clock. There's actually a shortcut in your settings manager for desktop clock. Otherwise, your wallpaper is from the wallpaper manager in the bar, or right click on the desktop, or even in the settings manager. The quote is also controlled via the wallpaper manager, and that is how easy it is to manage your wallpaper in MakuluLinux Core Edition. Now, for the guys that don't like the wallpaper changer, if you don't want to use it and you want to use the traditional selecting background over here, these will not show unless you disable the wallpaper changer. Once you disable the wallpaper changer, your wallpapers will show here, because it will then jump to the backgrounds folder, which is where all the wallpapers are. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so let's have a look at 3D, turning 3D on and turning 3D off in Makulu Core. Now there are two ways or multiple ways actually, to turn 3D on and off in Makulu Core. The easiest way is to just right click anywhere and choose 3D on or 3D on / off. If you select that, it will bring up a little box which will say, do you want to switch 3D on, yes or no? If you say no, it will keep it off. If you say yes, it will turn it on. So let's choose no, because I want to show you the differences that you'll see. With 3D off, it's normal windows, no special effects, no animation. The window borders look plain and nice, but just normal. Okay, if you turn the 3D on off, let's say yes, let's turn it on, and you open up the same window. Now you'll notice that the borders have changed. There's a much more transparency to them. You also have a sort of wobbly effect with the windows. If you maximize and minimize the windows, you'll notice that you've also got a bouncy effect. And of course, you can now hold down Control and Alt, and you can drag the desktop like a cube, or in this case like a cylinder. Okay, and you have various effects, including this background mirrors. You can also Control Alt and push the down button, and then while still holding, you can let go of the down button while still holding the Control and Alt. You can then with your mouse drag left or right through the different desktop environments. You will notice that there is a black window, black on top, and there are sort of a mirror effect below your actual desktop, which sort of shows sort of an underwater mirror effect. Okay, so with 3D on, you've got a lot more of these little, I don't know, just nice little effects that just make the desktop a little bit more flashy, I guess is the word. and it's nice. If you go to Settings Manager, you will also notice that you have a Compass Window Settings Manager, which is for the to enable or disable all of the options for the animations. You've also got a Emerald Theme Manager, which if you select that, this is the border theme. So you can literally change the border theme to something else. There's a whole lot of themes available here at your fingertips. Okay, so you can just go select one and these will change accordingly. So to turn it off again, you would just right click and choose on off and select no, and now we are back to default desktop with no animation. So one way to activate 3D is simply right clicking on the desktop and choosing 3D on off. The second method is through the settings panel, which also got a 3D on off. So there are two ways. One is right click the desktop, 3D on off. The other is in the settings manager, 3D on off. Now if the 3D is turned off, you will notice here that you have let's go 3D on off. When the 3D is turned off, you will notice that you have a window manager tweaks, and workspaces. So it's window manager tweaks, and workspaces, which is for your default window manager, for your border themes, for your how many workspaces you want to set up and so forth. However, if you put the 3D on, let's turn the 3D on, go back to settings, you'll now notice the window manager is gone, the window manager tweaks are gone, and the workspaces are gone. They've been replaced with Compass Window Manager settings and Emerald Theme Manager. Okay, so when you turn 3D on, it will remove the default window manager completely, including its icons, and it will put the 3D or your animated window manager here with the two icons needed to control it. And if you turn the 3D off again, it will remove these two icons and it will install and put the other ones back here as they should be. So the actual settings menu, the settings panel, will adjust according to whichever window manager is running. It will do the same inside your menus as well. Okay, so that is the 3D. You can turn it on and off as you wish with just a right click. I'm not going to go into all of the 3D settings that you can do in your own time. I just want to show you how to access it and what actually takes place when you do. As you can see, the window manager is back, the window manager tweaks is back, and the workspaces is back, and the 3D settings, compass settings is gone, and the Emerald Theme Manager is gone as well. So these will adjust according to which 3D on off you select. So that concludes our little tutorial for today. As you can see, there are some really nice features built into this distro. It's designed to be comfortable, easy to use, to have everything at your fingertips. You can access virtually any of these hidden features through multiple methods. It's been designed that way so that no matter where you are and what you're doing, you can just right click or move a mouse and you have access to anything you want or need. So that concludes our tutorial for today. Thank you for watching. Also remember, MakuluLinux survives on donations. We've just recently enabled a new server box, new VPS server. We're using this box as a repository mirror, especially for Core Edition. There's lots of changes coming and all the stuff costs money, so we really do appreciate if you guys can support us. If not physically with code, then financial support is also appreciated. Thank you very much.